I'd invite you all to rise and join in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Phyllis, could we have roll call?
Here, Collier.
Here.
Craig Thurston.
Here.
Matt Dwyer.
Here.
Charlie Fulenkamp.
Here.
Wiley Sir.
Here. First thing on the agenda this evening is a public hearing for the tax abatement for Hoosier Pattern. Oh, excuse me, yes, we have to approve the minutes from the last meeting. You were emailed a copy of the minutes from our December 3rd meeting. If you've had a chance to review those, I look for a motion to approve or amend them.
So moved.
Second. I have a motion and a second to approve the minutes from December 3rd. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Now, we have a public hearing for tax abatement for Hoosier Pattern. You were here once, then we kind of put things on hold, and now you're back. So the first thing we need to do is to suspend the city council meeting so that we can open a public hearing.
Make a motion to suspend the council meeting.
Second. A motion and a second to suspend the council meeting. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Make a motion to open the public hearing.
Second. Have a motion and a second to open a public hearing. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. We're now in a public hearing. Come on forward. So, tell us what's different since you were here last.
Well, I got sales reached to us and of another machine. So
Did I see it's been delivered?
yeah,
Yeah.
they got there last Tuesday. So I decided to add one more, and that's why I got a hold of Audra and see if we could get that added on the tax bill. So I appreciate your willingness to do that.
So, any questions, comments from council, or any advice from Tim before we...
The purpose of the public hearing is to seek any public comment regarding the tax abatement. Notice was given to taxing authorities of the request, so if there's any public comment, now's the time to speak. If not, if there's no comments from council or questions, then you can move to close the public hearing, and we can proceed to move back into the meeting for purposes of taking action on the confirming resolution.
Some county commissioners here, maybe they want to protest this. I don't think so. Any comments from the public whatsoever, or from council? If not, I would look to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second. I have a motion and a second to close our public hearing. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Motion to reopen the council meeting.
Second. I have a motion and a second to reopen our city council meeting. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. So next thing up is the confirming resolution for Hoosier Pattern's tax abatement.
I have it.
We have some matter of records to do, some
Right.
advertising.
The legal notice was published in the Democrat that needs to be made a matter of record. And then also the proof of filing with the taxing units needs to be made a matter of
So
record.
each one separate. The legal notice, if someone make a motion to make that a matter of record?
So moved.
Motion and a second to make the legal notice a matter of record. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. And what's the other one?
This is the proof of filing with the taxing unit.
I'd like to make that a matter of record.
Second. A motion and a second to make the proof of record,
Proof of filing.
proof of filing a matter of record. A motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Anything else, Phyllis, that you have?
That should be it.
Okay, now we're ready for a confirming resolution, which is going to be resolution number 2019-11. And we would like to introduce that confirming resolution by short title.
Make a motion to introduce resolution 2019-11 by short title only.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to introduce confirming resolution 2019-11 by short title only. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Tim?
One thing I will point out, because of the change on the SB1 for personal property, typically what you have is a confirming resolution. It confirms the declaratory resolution, because of the change, what you're doing is you're modifying and confirming the declaratory resolution to include the additional property. So by acting on this and approving it, that's what you're doing.
Got it. Everybody clear?
Okay, confirming resolution number 2019-11, City Council of the City of Decatur, Indiana, confirming a resolution for the designation of an economic revitalization area upon the application of Hoosier Pattern Inc. and RH Warehouse LLC.
Make a motion to pass resolution 2019-11.
Second. Have a motion and a second for passage of resolution, confirming resolution 2019-11. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Keith, I think we're all set.
I appreciate it.
Keep it going, man.
There's two here. Great.
Soon be up to 60 employees, so
Great.
Great, thank you.
thank you.
Thank you, Audra. Mr. Rickenberger, come on up.
Just two. Yep.
I think Rod brought some maps for us. Gonna give us all something to put in our files here.
We didn't want to rely on computer technology.
Did you want me, or do you not have enough? Okay, just pick it on me.
I told him to make plenty of copies.
All of them?
Yeah. Okay.
My employee, Katie June, lives here. Her house is paid for. 3%.
I got a couple
Still
extra
gotta buy
copies
another
if
house.
anyone would like to see it, Doctor. Roger.
I appreciate that. Someday somebody's gonna sell your house. It's not worth it.
Surprise, surprise, huh?
Well, I'll be dead. I won't.
So, there's a series of maps here, which I've already seen these. The first one, Rod, I guess, is the area of Parkview Drive and Meadow Lane, Angus Drive. All the green stars on that map are showing homes that have been purchased and demolished.
Correct.
The blue stars are the ones that are part of the 18 that we've just made all the offers to purchase. And those will be coming down once we get the money from Indianapolis. Bob?
Where's that from?
The red stars are part of the 9 that we applied for last year in 2018 that hopefully we'll get the money for next year. And then the white ones are the 4 that we just approved a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
The black stars are homes that turned us down or are not participating. They got a gold box around them. So that's the Parkview area. The
Yeah.
second map, go ahead, Rod.
Mayor, if I could I just want everybody to know that, you know, when I say we, us as a team, we've made every concerted effort to press the envelope or push the button as far as we could to get participation by those that are black stars. But we can't make a perception that we're trying to force people out. And so these people, we have approached them several times, but at the same time, we're respectful of the fact that they've chosen not to participate.
Correct. Second map is Fornex Street. And if you all will recall, there were 3 homes on there that were part of the 2018 application, which we're still waiting on. The next map then
You can
is
also see the north end of Parkview Drive in the lower right-hand corner of that map, too.
Yep. You don't realize how close Parkview Drive and Fornex Street are until you look at a map like this. The third map is the US 224 Belmont Road area and Ogg Street. You see several green stars down there on Ogg Street. A couple on Limberlost Trail. And then there's a couple of red stars that are part of the 18 application, just before you get to the Marathon gas station on Belmont Road. And a white star, which is part of the 2019 application, beside those. There's one Black Star, that's McBride Welding, who was offered years ago and turned it down. And then the last map is North 2nd Street, which you can see a couple of green stars. That's where a couple of homes used to be. They were taken down after the '03 flood. There's also a white star there that's part of the 2019 application. I think that's all that's on that particular map. But overall, if you look at the front page again, you notice green stars, there's 74. 74 homes have been taken out of the path of the river during times of high water. Of the 18 that have blue stars, we have confirmed, what, 16?
16, correct.
16. One has been turned away, or they denied the offer,
Yep.
and 2 of them we're still kind of waiting on because of some banking and...
Yeah, correct. One of them has a USDA loan through the federal government, and if you've ever tried to get 2 federal agencies to communicate, it's almost impossible. And the other one is in the sheriff's sale, and we're hoping that we can reach out and start working with them.
Yeah. So what else do you have to report this evening? I wanted to bring these down so everybody had these in our hands.
Well, when this is all said and done, just a couple of things. And we sort of, when I say we, I've seen members of the Maumee River Basin Commission Board back here tonight. We need supporting you to clear up and through the project that we just presented a couple of weeks ago. This will bring your total that Mayor Meyer has been involved with up to 105. And then if you add the 10 that Mayor Fred Ish, he had the confidence and the faith in us clear back in 1996 and 97. If you add those 10 in, you'll be up to about 115 when we're all said and done.
Rod, I don't know if you saw him, but
I've already shook his hand.
the next best thing to Fred Ish is here, right back there at Tony.
And I got to tell you, when there's tough decisions, you never knew this, Ken, but when there's tough decisions, I always ask, what would Fred do? So, I mean, he's still, I hope everybody, and I think, I talked to him, and he's with us all the time.
Well, I got a Christmas card from you today, and it said you'd talk to Fred.
Yes.
So, all right.
He's keeping his eye, and he thinks you're doing an awesome job.
All right, thanks for coming down this evening. While I got you here, stay there. While I've got you there, I shared with Tim about a month ago that one thing I wanted to do before I left office was to recognize Rod Rinkenberger. And I kind of intended on doing that when we got closer to the end here, but I won't be around to do that. So I want to recognize Rod this evening for all the efforts, for all the grant work that he's done on behalf of the city of Decatur, for Fred, John, myself, all of you. Rod has brought probably, I'm going to say, $7 million or more into our city to take homes out of the path of high water because of his efforts. I sincerely appreciate it. I think we all do, and I have asked Tim if he would write a resolution to recognize you this evening. And Tim is going to read a resolution, which maybe you've kind of guessed by now, but that's why we have some extra people here that happen to know you this evening. So, Tim, if you would.
It's actually a proclamation from the mayor.
Oh.
Okay. This is a proclamation from the mayor of the city of Decatur honoring Rodney M. Rankenberger. Whereas the Maumee River Basin Commission was established in 1986, and whereas Rodney M. Rankenberger was an original member of the MRBC Board of Directors, and whereas in March of 1996, Rod was appointed as the Executive Director of the Maumee River Basin, a position he has held since, And whereas Rod's knowledge, his trustworthiness, his genuine concern for others, his attention to detail, and his humble nature and sense of good humor have allowed him to work well with the general public, with local elected officials, and with regulatory bodies at all levels of government. And whereas under Rod's leadership and the Maumee River Basin Commission has become an influential organization at the federal, state, and local levels regarding land use and flood zones, flood mitigation and prevention, public education, and protection of water quality. And whereas Adams County and the city of Decatur have been affected by major flood events along the St. Mary's River and its tributaries, all of which are part of the Maumee River Basin. And whereas such flooding in the past caused injuries, significant property loss, and required extraordinary and costly mobilization of local resources to protect individuals and their properties against the risk of such flooding. And whereas the Maumee River Basin Commission has partnered with the city of Decatur both as to funding and administration of FEMA grants to remove structures from flood-prone areas within the city in order to remove stream obstructions and to mitigate against future flood impact. And whereas Rodney M. Rankenberger has worked tirelessly to procure FEMA grants for the city, to promote voluntary participation in FEMA's flood buyout program, and to assist Adams County Emergency Management and the City Building and Planning Department during high water events. And whereas for over 20 years, Rod has worked with 3 city administrations and multiple councils, Democrat and Republican alike, to remove 75 structures from flood-prone areas within the city of Decatur, and has laid the groundwork for another 25 structures to be removed in the near future. And whereas such efforts have been successful in greatly reducing the risk of personal injury and significant property damage, has greatly reduced city costs during flood events, and has improved flood insurance rates for those in the city who must carry such insurance. And whereas it is fitting to recognize Rodney M. Rankenberger for his leadership as the Executive Director of the Maumee River Basin Commission, and to recognize the Commission for its assistance to our city, now therefore, I, Kenneth L. Meyer, Mayor of the City of Decatur, do hereby proclaim and express on behalf of myself, all members of the Decatur Common Council, and on behalf of the citizens of the City of Decatur, our deepest appreciation and gratitude to Rod for his friendship, dedication, and service to our community. Do hereby proclaim and urge all citizens to join together in recognizing Rodney M. Rankenberger and the Maumee River Basin Commission for their willingness to help make the City of Decatur a better and safer community, and do hereby request that the Common Council of the City of Decatur take appropriate action to spread this proclamation among its records in appreciation and recognition of the city's strong working relationship with the Maumee River Basin Commission, and especially in appreciation and recognition of Rod's long and outstanding service to our community. Given on my hand on the 17th day of December, 2019, signed by Kenneth L. Meyer, Mayor, City of Decatur, Indiana.
I'll bring this out to you here, Rod. Here you go, brother. Now, one last thing. On behalf of the City of Decatur, for all that you've done, here's the key to the city. Okay? I would like Roger, Kurt, Tony, and the people that are on his board to come up and get in the picture with us.
Just so all of you know,
No.
I cannot do what I do without, and I don't want to start naming because I'll probably know somebody, but there's a lot of you in this room, and you know who I'm talking about, that play a key role, particularly the Maumee River Basin Board and members of the city staff. That every time we have a flood, it takes an entire team.
Jeremy and all this guy, taking the houses down. It's a big team effort. But yeah, Roger, Rex, Paul, Kim, who am I missing? Tony, come on up here. Melissa, can you get Can you get us all to tighten up?
We're good.
Let Melissa ride.
1, 2, 3. Do one more. 1, 2, 3. Very nice. Thank
All right. Bob, you need one? Hold on, Bob, you need one for the paper.
But you won't face our way.
Hard to smile, that bus thing in the back of your phone.
Okay.
Good. All right. Thanks again, Rod. Thank you. Thanks for coming, all you guys. Appreciate it. And before we move on, are there any comments from council or from any of his board of directors or Tony or anyone? Any comments? Seeing none, we will move on. Okay. Next thing on the agenda, Colton. Colton Bickle is here from the Adams County Economic Development Corporation. Just kind of here to give us an update on where we're at since he was last here. I think last time we were here was in reference to the memorandum of understanding, which we are just continuing with.
Right.
Renewing, if you will, or just
Right. Yeah,
stays in effect.
it's been a few months since I started and was last before you, so I wanted to come and give sort of an update, a year-end update on where we're at. We're still progressing as we were before. We have the temporary MOU in place, so we've been working with multiple higher ed institutions to try to figure out what programming we need, what training we need, and how do we facilitate that here in our county. We entered in the interim MOU in hopes that we'd have a permanent one in place sooner than what we do, because we don't have one currently. So it was built into the MOU, the temporary one, that it would just continue to roll until either the city said enough, we said enough, or we reach a permanent MOU, which we've not done yet. So we're just going to continue to let that roll, but wanted to come and give you a little bit of that update and answer any questions that you may have of me or the EDC. But that's kind of our plan moving forward. Again, our hope is, and we've been talking to a couple different higher ed institutions to get some classes going or trainings going in early 2020. We hope to do that at Northwest. That is the goal. And so that's kind of where we're at and where we're headed. I'd be happy to answer any questions that the council may have.
Greg, anything since you're on this board? I think that since Colton's shown up here in Decatur, things have went really well for the Economic Development Corp. At our meeting last Friday, he had a PowerPoint, him and James, with kind of their vision and where they want to go next and how they want to get there. So I think we're all on the right track. Cam, you have any comments? You're on his board as well? Everyone's quiet tonight. Go ahead.
No. I was just curious, if you could share with everybody what those institutions are. I don't know if it's
Sure, yeah. So, of course, Vincennes, that was the one at the very beginning. We've also talked to Ivy Tech. We've talked to Freedom Academy. There's a strictly online format called 180 Skills, as well as we have recently entered in to some conversations with Trine as well. That one's very new. We just had our first conversation last week. Thank you to Brent, who's here. He made the connection. So yeah, we're excited about that conversation. We've got a follow-up conversation later this week with Trine, but those are the ones that we've talked to at this point.
Excellent.
Any other comments? If not, keep up the good work, Colton.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Colton. Okay, Phyllis has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things, it looks like. These shouldn't take long. We have a conflict of interest disclosure statement. We need to make that a matter of record for various city employees. Something we do every year.
What do you call it? Conflict of interest.
Go ahead, Phyllis.
Okay, these are employees who contract with the city and receive a profit, and they need to complete a conflict of interest disclosure statement. And the employees are Taylor Gage, Anthony Stimson, Andrew Stimson, Leo Fiesel, Tim Allman, Corey Ham, Tyler Fullenkamp, Jess Sheets, Greg Kitson, Don Bergdahl, Tim Baker, and Jim Hitchcock. They've all completed the form, and then this will be kept on file with the county clerk's office, and then I'll upload it to Gateway for the State Board of Accounts.
Need to make that a matter of record.
Yes, you just need to make this a matter of record.
I'll make that a matter of record.
Second. I have a motion and a second to make the conflict of interest disclosure statements a matter of record. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Second is the annual certification of elected officials on compliance with nepotism policy in hiring and supervision.
Okay. Okay, and this is just stating that we're not violating the city's nepotism policy in hiring and supervision of relatives. And the mayor and all the council members and I have to sign this. So if you want to take yours, everybody will sign it.
We need a motion to make a matter of record.
Okay.
No, we just all need to
We
sign
need
it.
to sign
them,
it.
and then we'll make it part of the record.
Right.
Each one of us?
So
Is this for the coming?
This is for this year, that you didn't violate it.
17th day.
That's all you have to do.
No.
Date them, sign them, print them, and pass them back to Phyllis. Got one coming? You're all
Oh,
done?
Matt.
Okay. All right.
Oh, that's something else I asked for.
Next is annual certification of elected officials on compliance with nepotism policy for contracting.
Yeah, and this certification is stating that she didn't violate the contracting policy with relatives. All the
Did we do
elect-
these last year? I don't recall doing them.
Yeah, we did. Annual thing we have to do
You guys remember these?
Every year.
every year.
All right.
Okay, if we want to go ahead and make those a matter of record then.
Motion to make it a matter of record?
Second. Motion and second to make all the nepotism policy paperwork a matter of record. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. And then, do we need to do the resolution, or either one of those, first or second, does it matter?
No, it doesn't really
Okay.
matter. No.
Let's do the resolution next. She has a resolution to transfer funds within various city budgets at year's end. Is that going to be number 12? Number 12? Yeah, you want to tell us a little bit about it? or-
This resolution is just authorizing to transfer funds within the department's budgets. It's no extra money, it's just if they run short, like in office supplies, then we transfer it to the utility services or wherever accounts are short. I don't think you guys want me to read all those, do you?
Not really.
Okay. I didn't think you did. So if you want to introduce this.
It'd be Resolution 2019-12.
Make that motion to introduce Resolution 2019-12 by short title only.
Second. I have a motion and a second to introduce Resolution 2019-12 by short title only. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Tim?
Resolution number 2019-12 shall title Resolution Authorizing the Transfer of Funds.
Make a motion to pass Resolution 2019-12.
Second. A motion and a second for passage of Resolution 2019-12. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Just me?
You and Phyllis, Phyllis can fill in date and the vote.
Okay. That's that. One more thing for Phyllis. Approval to encumber funds from the 2019 budget to the 2020 budget for various departments.
And this is request that the department would purchase an item, but it hasn't come in yet. They want to use this year's budget to pay for it. So for the police department, to buy police uniforms, $5,386.52, and then for public safety medical examination fee, $1,303.72, a total for the police department, $6,690.24. For the fire department, they have a valve to purchase for the tanker, ice rescue suits, and fire hose, a total of $6,737. So the total transferred from general to encumber into the general fund is $13,427.24. I have copies for the media if you guys do want a copy of it. MVH Street is for American Structure Point to continue with the 5 Points Improvement Project, $40,767. A vehicle hoist for $7,745, a total of $48,512. That's for the MVH Street Fund. The Lowell Public Safety, personal protective equipment for the fire department, Campman's to do living quarters remodeling, and Campman's to do the hose tower roof, and 3 police vehicles, a total of $121,488.25. The total for the encumbrance for the year from 2019's budget to 2020 is $183,427.49.
Any questions? If not, I would look for a motion to approve all the encumbrances.
Make a motion to introduce Resolution 2019.
No, it's not a resolution.
It's just for me to
I'm sorry.
carry that
I'll
money
make
forward.
a motion to
Approve the
encumber and
encumbrance of
carry that
funds.
over into next year.
I'll second it. Motion and a second to give Phyllis approval to encumber the funds from the 2019 budget to the 2020 budget. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
I have one more.
5 wasn't enough?
No, that wasn't. This year, 2 of the facades didn't get done, and if it's okay if we carry $8,500 over, and that's paid out of the CEDAP fund, so I'll just make a note to pay for this.
Those
If
are,
everybody's okay with
those are
that.
facade grants,
Well, they're not
that we
grants,
approve
they're,
for
the city
facade,
pays for
yeah.
money.
matching funds that the city approved. They just didn't get done yet this year. They will get done.
Right.
Yeah.
You want a motion for that?
Please.
I'll so moved.
Second. A motion and a second to carry forward the facade funds that are left over. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Thank you. At the Board of Works meeting earlier this evening, the Board of Works approved the fire truck that we opened bids for at the last meeting. It's some, how much is it left? $757,000 for a fire truck. And we approved that, subject to Phyllis looking into the financing situation as to whether or not we want to pay it all up front or whether we want to finance it and invest the money that we have in savings. So I just would like approval from council to move forward on this. Any questions first? Matt, you got a look on your face there.
Seeing zeros.
Yeah, because I'll need to request an additional appropriation, so if you guys are okay with doing that, it's the money, we didn't budget for it, but the money's available in the LOA. So if council gives the okay for me to encumber that money, we can put it in the budget in the lower budget, and then whenever we're ready.
That's what Lowit's for, to buy big ticket items.
I guess we technically didn't budget for it, but we have been budgeting for it.
Yeah, he has been saving for it.
Budgeting through the Lowit.
Right. He hasn't spent all the money
Setting aside each
on it.
Was it 500 and something set aside? Or 500,000? Yes.
Total cost is
700.
Last, what was the total cost of the truck?
I got it right here. $757,315.
I'll make a motion to approve.
second.
A motion and a second to approve the okay for buying the fire truck. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Next thing I have is a request to council to allow me in the last couple of weeks that I have here, and Melissa and Mary-elect Dan, you back there, Dan? Yes. To work on pursuing a grant with the Northeast Indiana Regional Development Authority. They released this back on November 12th that they have leftover funds from the $42 million of the Regional Cities Initiatives funding. They have approximately $250,000 left coming from investments and leftover funds. Says we are now ready to invest the final increment of Regional Cities funding to the most appropriate projects or project. We must continue to infuse projects with last money in to send the project over the finish line. There's a definite timeline. They have to have this money taken care of by March. So they kind of threw this out, and it's a short window of opportunity to apply for this. And I'm not real certain as to how many other communities will apply. I feel of all the things we've applied for in the past, I feel better about this than any other grant we've ever applied for. So Phyllis will have to put together a little information. Melissa's gathering a lot of data. Jeremy will gather some data. I'd like to seek, if possible, the help from some of the key Greater Decatur committee members, because we will have to make a presentation to the Redevelopment Authority Board in January, and that could be up to a 20-minute presentation, as I understand. So I would like the okay from council to move forward with applying for these funds. Before I get a motion, I would look for any comments or questions.
You know, in the past, like when this RDA came out, we had quite a few projects that were listed in the initial application to the state. None of them were really available for help, because the closest one at the time was the Madison Street project. But the issue is that they have to have
80% of the funds.
80% of the funding, and that's got to be from private and public.
Yeah.
And so it truly is the last money in. So I'd say we're in an absolute great position now, given the money that's been pledged and donated towards Hannah Nutman and from the city and private. So I think it makes perfect sense.
Yeah, it really does. Like Cam said, we have the funding to do this. This will only add more funds to it so that we can possibly do even a little bit more of not only phase one but part of phase two sooner than later in the project. So, and it also, one of the requirements is that you have to have the donated funds from your community. And we've raised $900,000 from the community, so we're good to go there. I mean, we've got all the kind of crossed all the T's and dotted all the I's ahead of time on this one. So, yeah, I would like to have council's approval to move forward on this application.
I'll make a motion to move forward.
I'll second. A motion and a second to move forward with the application for the Regional Development Authority funds. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Thank you. I really appreciate that, council. I really sincerely appreciate that. That is everything that I have on my agenda. I think that this is Cam's last meeting as a councilman, and I think Tim may have something there to recognize Cameron.
Okay. This would be a resolution of the council. It's Resolution 2019-13, so I'd entertain a motion to introduce Resolution 2019-13 to be read in its entirety.
Make a motion to introduce Resolution 2019-13.
I'll second it, Brad. A motion and a second to introduce Resolution 2019-13 in its entirety. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Jim?
Resolution 2019-13, short title, Resolution of the Common Council of the City of Decatur, Indiana, which recognizes Cameron D. Collier for his service to our country and to our community, and which expresses to him the gratitude of all he has so ably served. Whereas Cameron D. Collier is a graduate of the United States Naval Academy, currently holding the rank of commander, and whereas upon his graduation from the Academy, Cameron D. Collier was assigned to carrier-based jet aircraft, serving nearly 10 years in such capacity, and whereas Cameron D. Collier remains an active officer in the Navy Reserve and is currently serving as an instructor with the Naval Leadership and Ethics Center, whereas Cam was elected to the Common Council of the City of Decatur, where he served 2 terms since January 1, 2012, save for a year of deployment to the Middle East in July of 2017, and whereas Cam has also served as a leading member of the Greater Decatur Committee since its inception and has played a critical and significant role in strategic long-range planning, prioritization of community-supported capital projects, and promoting the city as artistically inspired. And whereas Cam's tenure as a member of the Common Council ends on December 31st, 2019, as he turns his focus upon his growing family and financial planning business. And whereas his fellow council members wish to publicly acknowledge Cam's service to our country and to our city, and wish to thank Cam for his dedication and commitment to protecting our freedoms, and to thank him for his determination to make our community a greater Decatur, now therefore be it resolved by the Common Council of the City of Decatur, Indiana as follows. Resolved, Cameron D. Collier's selfless and exemplary service to his country is inspirational and is deeply appreciated and respected. Resolved, Cameron D. Collier has likewise given of himself to serve his community and has done so with distinction by attending meetings well prepared and well informed, listening attentively, and taking positions on issues or making decisions which are well thought out and persuasive. Resolved, Cameron D. Collier has been instrumental in developing a vision for the future of Decatur, has been an ardent supporter of arts initiatives, has been a leader in pushing for workforce development and training, and has been a strong advocate for quality of life projects. Resolved, Cameron D. Collier has served humbly, respectfully, with common sense and good judgment, and with a positive, forward-leaning attitude which has resulted in his effective leadership and universal respect. Resolved, that the members of council and the citizens of Decatur are deeply indebted to Cameron D. Collier for his dedication and commitment to our country and to our community, and hereby express their deepest and heartfelt thanks to Cam for a job so well done, and hereby wish Cam the very best in whatever the future may hold for him and his family. Resolved that this resolution be spread of record in the minutes of the Common Council meeting of this date, and a copy of this resolution shall be delivered to Cameron D. Collier in recognition of his distinguished service as a naval officer and in recognition of his outstanding service to the citizens of the City of Decatur. Duly passed, adopted, and resolved by the Common Council of the City of Decatur, Indiana on the 17th day of December 2019. Signatures for the Common Council, the Mayor, and attested by Phyllis as Decatur Clerk Treasurer.
Make a motion to pass Resolution 2019-13.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Resolution 2019-13 has been adopted. Congratulations and thank you, Cameron, for your service, not only to council, but to the city and to our country. Thank you. that, I'm going to go back to the department heads. Lenny, got anything tonight?
Yeah, just one thing. We had a couple complaints about the semis going down 2nd Street. So
I get them all the time, Lenny.
yeah. So yesterday we had a couple calls. So I had my first hit sergeant keep an eye in that area, and a couple officers did pull some over and wrote some tickets. But also the sergeant went to Bungie. I'm talking to him personally, and apparently there's some shipments coming from Ohio, so they were going to email and contact those businesses to tell them not to come down 2nd Street, or they'll be given a citation. So Mark and the guys patrol there today when they can, so we're trying to keep that at minimal.
Okay.
And that's about it.
Thank you, Lenny.
Yeah.
Les?
Well, I'd just like to wish council and Phyllis and Mayor Meyer Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. This will be the last that we'll get together officially, and especially campaign through for 4 years. And just again, Christmas, be safe, and you have the Yuletide burning, but just be careful about it. As always are.
Jim? Kevin, I think you have something.
Yeah, I got a couple things. Just to let council know there's going to be some claims that one of the batch you had today that will be paid by the end of the year. They're all free from the new water plant. Posting that they asked for $680,586. The West Engineers had one for $13,600, and the Spring Builders had one for $16,300. Just to let you know that didn't make the employee claims, but they'll be paid yet this year. A little update on the plant. It's coming along well. We're looking to have it shelled in before Christmas yet, and be able to do all the inside plumbing, get started on that. They're about 100 days ahead of schedule, and under budget right now, so it's very good.
That's great.
Ken, thanks for the last few years. Had a good time. Wish you both well.
Thanks. Kurt?
Lesson-ized system will be starting on Monday the 23rd. His name is Tony Waltridge. So we look forward to having him in here, and thank you, sir, for the last 2.5 years, and you, Cam, for the last 2.5 years as well.
Thanks, Kurt. Don?
A lot of sewer projects going on right now in town, so have patience with me. We got some areas kind of hectic for sure, and there's more to be coming up soon. Board of Works approved another major repair on Jefferson and 8th, so that'll be a little congested down there for 3 or 4 days. Thanks for your service, Ken. Yeah, appreciate it.
Jeremy?
We've accomplished so much in the last several years. Every one of you have been involved in it. Cam, you've been really involved in it. Through Treasurer Decatur, Ken, you have also. Just want to thank both of you for all your time. I know you both have put in a tremendous amount of extra time, setting on all the committees, anything from Stellar to, downtown to whatever. You guys put your heart into every project that we've tackled, and we've done a lot of good in the last 8 years, 10 years, at least. So, thank you.
Thanks, Jeremy. Bill?
Well, I just personally like to say thank you, Ken. Thank you for having confidence in me. It's been a pleasure. Pam, we've had our times, but thank you very much also. And I'd like to say they've been good.
Yeah. Melissa?
Been a pleasure to serve.
Thanks, Melissa. Anything from council members?
Of course. I would say that there's times that I think over the last 8 years I've become less verbose at council meetings. This will not be one of those times. I'm going to talk a little bit. So I just wanted to say thank you. It's been incredibly rewarding 8 years. And so certainly want to thank the citizens of Decatur for just allowing me the opportunity to serve. It's been an absolute privilege and honor. I certainly won't soon forget. But I want to thank our city employees for their tireless efforts, and I hope that our community actually appreciates all that they do to keep this machine running. And I think there's nothing that we've thrown your way that you haven't tackled with a willing spirit, and I think it shows in the progress that we've made. I want to thank our department heads for their proactive work to move our community in the future. I mean, from the fire and police departments with your just looking long range at equipment and training and manning, how do we keep the talent in our community? Sanitation, the street department, the work that you guys do. I mean, the things that Don, like to just, I don't think people understand the amount of work that is underneath of our community. And if we're going to have a future, it's imperative that that is solid. So thank you for that. Our utilities, just getting out in front of things and being proactive about, what's going to replace our systems and what do we need to be 20, 30 years in the future. Building department and the codes and everything that you've been doing, it's just amazing. Parks and Rec department, long-range planning, all these things that you're doing that are 5, 10, even 30 years out in the future. I think that's exactly what our city needs and deserves. I want to thank the members of the numerous boards and commissions. Their years of the task and duties often overlooked, rarely envied, and absolutely crucial. We know you don't serve because of pay and benefits. You serve because you believe in Decatur. I want to thank Phyllis and her staff for always entertaining my questions, correcting me when I was wrong, keeping us on track. I want to thank Melissa for your selfless and tireless devotion to our community. You took on a loosely defined responsibility and really have done an incredible job of holding and connecting so many of our efforts together. I want to thank Tim for your countless and dutiful honors and hours in serving our community, entertaining my phone calls, researching questions that I had, hopefully off the book. But also thanks for you've continually engaged outside of your duties as legal counsel. I want to thank fellow council members for your willingness to work together over the last couple of years, and in many cases entertain my ideas and proposals. I want to thank former Mayor Schultz for his leadership and efforts to set our community on a path of growth, for having the foresight to engage committees like Greater Decatur and mold a strategic vision for our community. I want to thank him for having the courage and faith to pursue Stellar. I think we're still recognizing the benefits and outcomes of those attempts. I want to thank Mayor Meyer for your leadership and efforts to implement those plans and visions set in motion, adopted by this council. You were handed an enormous responsibility, and you responded well. I think if we just look at the many successes we've had over the years, look at the accomplishments in this block alone, look what's been launched. And I think I'd be remiss if I didn't take the time to point out that just 18 months ago, the City Council approved the launch of a capital campaign to raise $1 million for Hannon Outman. And while he's had some assistance, it's clear that Mayor Meyer is primarily responsible for having raised over $900,000 towards that goal. And I think it's an incredible feat in a very short time. I want to thank the countless volunteers and community members who have helped to craft the vision, develop the strategy, implement the plans. Nothing that we've done, none of our successes would be possible without the efforts of our volunteers. Lastly, they're not here, but I want to thank my family for loaning me to the city for 8 years. I think the efforts of a councilman do not solely exist in the council chambers twice a month. I think many late nights were spent at home working on proposals and plans, and many other evenings were given to committee meetings. And if his city business pulled me away during the normal workday, well, I took my regular work home. So my wife and children have waited patiently. Excuse me. But just think how incredibly far we've come. I think, Jeremy, you said it. I think through coordination, the tireless efforts of our city, the employees, the numerous volunteers throughout the community alike, as well as the generosity of our own citizens, Decatur has become pretty great. I was talking to Pat Sefton, and he mentioned a gentleman had come into his office and had not been in our community for a while. And he said, "What happened to Decatur?" He said, "It looks like somebody breathed some fresh life into this community." And I think that's a testament to the hard efforts of everybody that's working in our city. So I think that I guess I'd like to take a moment now to actually encourage kind of the incoming council members, the city leadership, to really consider the many plans that our community has adopted. Over the last 8 years, we've taken a comprehensive plan. We developed a strategic plan to invest in our community. It's that idea of combining the public money to encourage private investment. We've identified numerous projects to complete in phases. Most of those projects initially identified for Phase 1 have been completed or are currently in process or established a timeline and funding plan. I think if by completing the 5 points, which is scheduled, and finishing out the streetscapes, what we had hoped to accomplish in Stellar will be done. I think that's an amazing feat to do it on our own. So, we had developed or adopted a further downtown design plan, and we've asked volunteers to spend countless hours bringing the plan together. And while portions have been implemented, there's still a lot that needs to be addressed. And so, we adopt these plans for a reason, and certainly not to be kept on a shelf. So I think we need to continue to gather input from our community to shape that. So I encourage you to have those meetings and develop that public discussion and bring those ideas to bear. Ideas may change and directions may differ, but I think it's imperative that we remain collectively and consistently referencing the same plan. To borrow a term from my aviation days, we say plan the flight, fly the plan. Deviate as necessary to accomplish the mission. I think if there's one regret I have in leading the council, I would say it's my failure to help clarify and solidify roles, responsibilities, and scope of authority for all those involved in leading our community. So I would encourage you to think about that. I think we need to more clearly define what roles we are asking of our volunteers and committee members to play. And I would encourage you to help them understand our expectations and their responsibilities. But we also need to be sure not to, we need to communicate what level of authority that they have and where it comes from. We have no business asking someone to be responsible for a specific role if we don't give them the requisite authority. And I think this holds true not just for our volunteers, but for our city employees as well. And I want to encourage you to think about, do our employees, our department heads, do our council members understand the clear roles, responsibilities, and scope of authority? We live in a very small community, and I think many of us are actively involved and often represent several organizations. And it's important to remember that what hat we are wearing and what committee we are representing. And this is something that, in retrospect, I struggled with myself. I think if we each understand where we fit into the conversation, I believe the organization will function more efficiently. So, again, kind of another, we're all on the same ship. We're all headed in the same direction, but we need to know what role we play. And I think we may be experienced in many areas and have ideas of how to do something or how it could be done better, but I think it's important to remember what lane that we are asked to swim in. And so the challenge I guess I'd offer to you is to help others along that may have a certain role or responsibility. And if we find ourselves at odds, we shouldn't go over a problem, or we shouldn't go around a problem. I think we need to work with them, not against them. So I believe clear and published roles, responsibilities, and understanding of authority will serve our city well. And so I just want to encourage that the city council members, the new leadership coming in, that the more we can do to better define that, I think will go a long way to making this a successful community and actually executing the plans that we have in place. So with that, I'm going to end. Again, I want to thank you for the opportunity to serve. It's a kind resolution that makes me want to not leave, but it's time. I promise to continue supporting Decatur in whatever manner I can. Thank you.
Any other comments?
I've got a couple things.
Go ahead, Tim.
This morning, the Solid Waste District approved the city contract for the upcoming year for disposal of waste through the transfer station at the Solid Waste District. The price increased, I think, 94 cents a ton based on 2.1% CPIU increase, which is the escalator clause in the contract. So I would ask for a motion to approve the 2020 contract, and then that would need to be signed by council and the mayor and Phyllis.
I'll make a motion to approve contract that's submitted here from Solid Waste District.
Second. A motion and a second to approve the contract from from the Southwest District for next year. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Okay, if both the proclamation and the CAMS resolution indicated that those are to be spread of record, so could I have a motion to make a matter of record Rod's proclamation and then another motion to make the resolution honoring Cam a matter of record?
So moved. Well, I need two separate motions.
Or you can do them both at once if you wish.
Let's do that,
Okay.
please.
So moved.
Okay, motion and a second to make both Rod's proclamation and Cam's resolution a matter of record. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Are these yours or Phyllis's?
Those are Phyllis.
For Phyllis.
Sign anything else?
Nope. And then, if Wiley can get those. Last thing, I was gonna do a resolution for Ken, and Ken's a humble guy, and he asked me not to, so I haven't. But I do want to say a couple things on my part. It's been a real privilege to serve in his administration for the last 4 years. He didn't need to keep me on. He did. And I appreciate that very much. He's a good friend. He's a good man. There's nobody that cares more about Decatur than Ken does. So I want to say thank you. I know how committed he is. I've seen the position of mayor. I saw it in John Schultz. I saw it in Ken. It's a demanding job, and I know Dan is accepting that challenge at this point. And as many meetings as I go to, they pale in comparison to the meetings that the mayor goes to. And they're meetings that happen day and night, weekends. There's obligations that he is required to meet throughout the year that none of us do. None of us have to, but it's expected of him. He's our voice, he's our face. And I think Ken has done a tremendous job these last 4 years. So I want to thank him. And I want to thank Mary Jean for sharing him, because he's been involved in city government for a long time. What, 16 years now? 12 years as council, 4 years as mayor. He's given a lot to our community. And just as Cam shared, when somebody serves in this position, their families serve alongside them because they give up time with that person. So I want to thank the family as well. The last thing I will say is Cam is absolutely correct that we have accomplished a tremendous amount in the last 4 years. The groundwork was laid before that. And projects are being, the groundwork is being laid now for projects that are going to be done in the next 5 or 10 years. And that's a tribute to Ken and all of you who've worked on those projects. But I think maybe the most lasting legacy that Ken will have is the people that are sitting out there that are department heads. Because every one of you are here because of him. He appointed you or he kept you. And I look around at the appointments that he's made, and he made tremendous appointments. Every one that he's appointed, I applaud. We have a wonderful group of people that are working for our community, and that's a real tribute to Ken's leadership because he picked good people to surround him. So for that, I thank you as well.
You done?
Well, I could have read it, but yeah, I am.
Thank you. Anything from the public? Seeing none, I would look for
I just want to say thank you for the last 4 years. It's been a pleasure to serve with you. I want to thank Cam. I always wait for Cam to talk before I talk because he's going to have all the good ideas, so then you could just steal them from Cam. But
there's nothing left to say after Cam talks.
2-page paper for his last speech, but I just want to thank both you guys. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. Department heads, I do want to thank each one of you. We do have the best department heads around. I'm proud of every one of you. I tell you that a lot, but I don't know if you believe me, but I'm proud of every one of you. Y'all give it your all every day. I want to thank the people of Decatur for giving me the honor and privilege to serve. That's all I have.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I would look for a motion to pay the claims.
So moved.
Second. A motion and a second to pay the claims. All in favor?
Aye.
All in favor? Opposed?
Motion to adjourn.
Have a motion to adjourn, a second?
Second.
Have a second to adjourn, all in favor? Opposed? For the last time, we are adjourned.